What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show here on a Thursday night. The Blazers get their worst loss of the year, losing to the Brooklyn Nets 109-107, the same Brooklyn Nets that gave up 153 points to the Sacramento Kings a couple of nights ago. The Blazers were an absolute mess today. We're here to rant about it and vent about it because this game was probably as frustrating as the rest of the season combined for me. Eric, how's it going?
I was frustrated with this game tonight.
Very, very frustrated. This is the Blazers Uprise post-game show presented by Bet Online. Thank you to them for sponsoring once again. If you want to check out Bet Online, use promo code BELIEVE for 50% rewards if you want to get in on some NBA action. The Blazers have actually been a good against the spread team so far this year. They weren't one today, but they've been a good against the spread team. You can check out Bet Online. Go to betonline.ag, use promo code BELIEVE. Thank you to them for sponsoring this post-game show. All right, Eric, I'll let you start as I collect my thoughts. Sorry the stream went live a little bit late. I had some other things that took longer than expected that I was doing during this game, but I watched the entire thing, and I have a lot of things I'm mad about. Are you mad? Are you sad? Are you okay? How are you feeling?
Perturbed, I guess is the right word.
Good vocabulary.
So many self-inflicted things we did in this game. The coaching I thought was absolutely terrible.
Yep.
The reffing was terrible. Our shot selection was completely awful. So let's start with the coaching.
Which part of the coaching do you want to start with? Situational or minutes or offense or what? Because there's a million things.
Well, I want to start with situational, but I want to lead that into another thing that made me very mad.
Yep.
Situationally, 6 seconds left, tie ball game. So if they miss and we get the rebound, they're not going to foul because it's a tied game. Why is Dame and Ant in the game in that situation? Put your 5 best defenders on the floor. That's some Terry Stotts crap right there.
This game was a Terry Stotts game.
Dude, you do not put your 2 small guards, and what do you know? It's Dame and Ant under the rebound, under the basket, and they don't box out Royce O'Neal, and he gets the tip in, right?
Yeah.
So why were they in the game? Why was, put Winslow, Grant, Hart, Grant, or did I already say Grant?
You said Grant. Winslow, Hart, Nas,
Nas and Sharpe or something in the game there. Put 5 switchable defenders.
Yeah.
Have Nurk is better than Ant or Dame in that situation. We needed length. They were gonna attack the basket. You knew Grant was good or Durant was gonna settle for a mid-range jumper. That doesn't make any sense. Why do we have our 2 worst defenders in the game in that situation? We have a timeout left we saved. So even if we get the ball back with a second left, we can call timeout quickly, put them back into game, and run a play for the last shot or whatever. It's just, I don't get it. And then the other thing that's making me mad, Chauncey's got to figure this out, man. Look at Jeremy Grant in the fourth quarter, his defense on Kevin Durant. He was great on Kevin Durant. But we started the freaking game with Josh Hart guarding Kevin Durant for 5 minutes, and Grant's over guarding Edmund freaking Sumner. Who the frick cares? The whole thing Chauncey said about having Grant on smallish, quicker guards was to have he said to have a length, right? Length on the guards to frustrate them, right?
Yeah.
So why would you not put that length on one of the lengthiest players in the league?
Less length on KD than you put on guards makes sense, I guess.
That doesn't make sense. And then we have Hart guarding him, and then I'm like, okay, maybe he's saving it for the second half. Nope. We started the second half with Grant on Edmund Sumner again, and Hart guarding KD, and he could just shoot right over the top of him. And at the end, we were switching picks. Grant did a great job of getting through one, and we got a stop on that play. But the other plays, we kept switching, so like Ant was guarding him, and Ant did a fine job, but he can't really contest shots the way Grant was. I don't understand the game plan of continually taking Grant out of his best attributes as a defender and putting him in his worst attributes as a defender, and I'm sick of it, quite frankly, and I was disgusted by that game plan at the beginning of this game and at the beginning of the second half.
Yep. I mean, I don't understand Chauncey's usage of Jeremy Grant. We said before this game, this is the type of player you actually got for Jeremy Grant to guard. They actually, like, not De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Durant is the guy that Jeremy Grant should be guarding. Like, pretty obvious, right? But, I mean, Chauncey he can't figure it out for the life of him, apparently. It's like, length on the guards, okay, cool in theory, but why would you go with less length on a 7-foot guard? Like, it's stupid. That's stupid. He's struggled at knowing what to do with Grant, but then also knowing who to play and when is a weakness of his, and it's bitten us in 2 out of the past 3 games. It bit us tonight with Ant and with Dame on the final freaking possession. It bit us against Dallas when Dallas goes small and he leaves in Drew Eubanks, who had already played 30 minutes. Right? That's 2 out of 3 games where he's made, like, downright blatantly awful personnel decisions in late games, but it extends, like, to earlier parts in the game, Eric. Like, I want to rant about this crap. So, you know that rookie that we drafted with the 7th overall pick that has all this upside, right? Mm-hmm. Today, he had 20 points on 7 for 9 shooting. The rest of the team was 39%. He was 7 for 9. He's 4 for 5 from 3. 20 points. Our best offensive player, by far. Not even close. How many minutes does he play? 21 freaking minutes. Okay? How many minutes did he play in the 4th quarter?
Oh, he went in with 0.1 seconds left. I know that.
So he played a 0.1... Like, I think he played right at the start of the 4th and then got subbed out early. Dude, that's like, what the hell, man? How is he your best player? He came in and brought this team back. The starters started off terribly once again. Part of that's due to Chauncey not knowing who the hell to put Jeremy Grant up against. But then you have this rookie come in and provide a spark, and all of a sudden, oh, like clockwork, the Blazers are back in the game. Oh, look at that. And Sharpe's phenomenal again. Second night in a row. And he plays 21 minutes. That's some crap that Terry Stotts would do. I'm pissed, man. Like, Dame does not have it going tonight. Dame was frankly awful tonight. He finishes with 11 assists, only 2 turnovers. Okay, that part's good, but he took some terrible mid-range shots in this game. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But Dame did not have it going today, right? Dame still ends up playing 38 minutes. Grant didn't have it going today. 2 for 13 from the field. He ends up playing 37 minutes. Meanwhile, you got Shaedon Sharpe, 20 points, 7 for 9. Plays 21 minutes. That crap pisses me off. Sharpe needs to play more when he's playing like he is tonight. It needs to not be like it's off of a 4x6 or 2x4 note card, whatever the freaking dimensions are. I don't remember what the dimensions of a note card is anymore because I haven't had to talk about coaches doing rotations off a note card like we used to have to talk about on post-game shows. Unfortunately, this game was Chauncey not playing the best player for us the entire game in like almost the majority of the 4th quarter. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, well, too, like when the guy's hot, like run some sets for him in the second half so he can get some shots. We just like had him standing around. And then we went into stagnant ISO offense.
Do you want to talk about that next? Do you want to get to it? Because that's one of the things from this game that absolutely freaking sucked.
Yeah, I mean, our guards took some turns, just taking bad shots. And the funny thing is, they were getting by their man. They were playing way up on him. So they had some success driving the ball, but settled for a lot of bad shots.
Yep. I mean, just super stagnant, iso ball, no cutting, and it's like it's people with the ball, it's people without the ball standing around, not doing anything. People with the ball just dribbling the air out of the ball. It's literally the entire freaking team. Dame took some bad mid-range jumpers. Jeremy Grant forced some terrible shots as well. It's always funny to see who comes in here and mentions Dame but not Grant, because I thought Grant was just as bad. He was 2 for 13 and took some terrible shots driving, like fading away from 5 feet into double team and not kicking it out. Like, the entire team struggled. Dame was not good today. Had 11 assists, but too much iso ball. Took some terrible shots. Nobody else cut. That's part of the issue. I mean, this team, they got back in the game playing in transition. That was absent the entirety of the second half. But it's like, they'll do the right thing, they'll get up 9, Eric, or they'll get up 11, then the other team will call a timeout. And then, after that timeout, the Blazers are just super stagnant and take some terrible shots and let the other team right back in the game. How many times were we up like 7 or 9 points against Brooklyn in this game? I think there was 3 different instances we got up by that amount, and Brooklyn came back every single time.
Yeah, we're up 11 at one point, 82-71, I think, and then
that was the biggest
they went
lead.
on a 14-0 run, and then we got up 5 late in the game, and they went on a 10-0 run. We didn't have a field goal for like 6 minutes plus.
Yep. I mean, that's the problem. We need Stotts back. No, we don't. See, this is the type of offense you saw pretty much every game in the past. This is what we need to not do. We got a 10-4 record because we didn't play offense like this. And if that's not obvious, then I don't know what to tell you. But this is the type of offense that when Dame doesn't have it going, hitting a bunch of difficult shots, the Blazers were absolutely screwed. And they have more offensive talent tonight, but against, a Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton around the rim, he's been good defensively. Like, this isn't a good Brooklyn Nets defense, but you play into their hands, making it easy on them when they can set their defense, and you're just isolating like crazy. You need to move the ball. You need to cut too, though, because if you have the ball and everybody is just standing around, I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do? Like, so yeah, I mean, but dude, Greg, you got to stop. You're gonna set me off, man. Sometimes he says, this is chat, says sometimes Dame should pass the ball for the sake of passing and keeping the ball moving. He doesn't need to clap for it back either. There are other players that can shoot it well. He had 11 assists today and 2 turnovers, but he didn't pass the ball, huh? And everyone's standing around, nobody cutting when cuts are there, nobody doing anything off the ball. That's all his fault because they want to watch him. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're saying in chat. Gray, you should chill with the Dame hate, my guy. But I mean, it's the entire team was super stagnant today. Ant was stagnant. Ant took a couple bad shots. This entire team struggled. Too much iso ball. Not enough movement. Not enough cutting. Sure, maybe it's one guy's fault more than the other. Dame was maybe the main offender of it, but it's the entire team. Gotta move better.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, get that ESPN out of here. ESPN ad.
To your point on Chauncey too, it's like, or about the minutes and stuff. Like, we've heard him say accountability, and I'm not afraid to put Sharpe in there in crunch time if he's playing well or whatever, Like, this would have been the perfect time to let him get some crunch time minutes and see what happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, but for me, it's just frustrating when, like, Dame has played within the flow of the offense all year long very, very well, and people said he could never do it, right? But he's done it all year long. But, Gray, you basically said
he doesn't have to do this. That's the problem.
Yeah, but it's like, that's the thing, is like, he's done a really good job this year playing within the flow. And it's like, certain people that said that he's not capable or doesn't want to do it, they won't give him credit, right? For, like, I haven't heard them give him credit. But then the first game where he, like, takes some bad shots and isolates too much, they're the first people to come here and say something about it. And as if it's like validation for them saying that Dame can't play in the flow. That's what it comes across to me. Dame has played within the flow of the offense the entire year. Like, Dame has played well off the ball. That's how he was able to have a couple quiet 41-point games. He's averaging 28. And even Lamar Hurd said on the broadcast, and Calabro said, does it feel like he's averaging 28? No. And that's because he's playing within the flow of the offense. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just frustrating when people, like, if Nurkic had been finishing at 65% all year in the paint, and then he has a game where he's 2 for 8 around the rim, you know that there's going to be those people saying, see, he can't make an open layup, right? And acting as if one game is the truth. Like, Dame sucked today. Dame was bad. He took some terrible shots. The mid-range stuff wasn't falling, and he forced some bad shots like that. He needs to do better. But, I mean, he's played within the flow of the offense the entire game. But here's the thing. People also need to cut more. It's not just Dame. It's not just Dame. It's the entire team. This team has regressed offensively the past 2 games. They won against the Spurs, but it was an ugly, ugly win. It was a terrible game. They clutched up and got lucky to be a bad Spurs team at home. But their offense has regressed into a bunch of stagnant crap. And it's not just Dame. People aren't cutting. People aren't moving. And it's frustrating to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, how many people are just standing around doing that? And then we call a timeout late in the game, and we run some weird play where we inbound it to Winslow and give the ball for an ISO Grant top of the key, and he drives and doesn't really have a shot, but he shoots it anyway. He hadn't been finishing all night. Not the best flow to this game, but at times it was awesome. There was that period right before the half where, or in the second quarter, I guess, where Sharpe and that lineup was going crazy, and Dame and Ant were both out of the game at that time. And there we had like a sequence of like 4 or 5 plays with Nas and Sharpe. It was just super exciting. And then Chauncey like subs them out and changes the lineup. I kind of want to bring that, or let them play when they're playing well, especially if you don't need Dame or Ant out there and you're moving the ball, you're getting out in transition and running. Just don't go away from that, and go back to it at some point in the second half.
Absolutely. Shout out Gray Hughes, investigates, $10 donation. Thank you, Gray, for the dono. Says, I think Dame has bought in, but it's games like this where Ant and Dame pound nails into the floor. Watching them do that, it's up to them to keep the ball moving. They know that doesn't work. I mean, it's up to everyone. Because here's the thing. If everybody's standing around and they're not in a set and they're freelancing, but everybody is standing around, Dame passes it to, I don't know, Nasir Little. Okay, what now? Nas gets to ISO now? Cool. How does that solve anything? How is that any better? And how is that, Dame, it's Dame's fault for trying to ISO himself instead of letting Nas ISO. You know what I mean? Like, it's a collective effort. It's just frustrating that this team couldn't adjust, and it's on the players, and it's also on the coach, because Chauncey he has to get them into more of a structured offense to try and get them certain advantage out of a structure. Right? If they're not freelancing properly, if they're not driving, kicking, moving the ball well, then okay, run a set. Especially for Shaedon Sharpe, who's been on fire, have him coming off a pin down and catching a ball, right? And then maybe the defense has to rotate. Then if he passes the ball back to where he got it from, maybe Dame passes to him, then Dame gets the ball back and the defense is rotated, then Dame has a lane and then he can kick. That can help spark some movement. But the problem is they had absolutely no structure there in that fourth quarter. The stagnant offense came back to bite them. And Brooklyn played well off Blazer misses. I felt like it bled over into the defense. Brooklyn was, it wasn't like they were running fast-breaking run-and-gun offense, but they were bringing up the ball swiftly. Blazers were having to cross-match here and there in transition. And it was due to, them missing shots, especially a lot of mid-range jumpers and long threes create long runouts, create leak-out opportunities. I
think they passed their season average for fast break points in the first half of this game.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about fourth quarter, but yeah. I mean, how many fast break points did they have? We don't have graphics tonight, by the way. Chris is not feeling it. Still working on getting them animated. But yeah, they had 27 fast break points. And when you only shoot 36 threes, that's not a ton of threes. That's a ton of fast break points that came off situations that weren't super long misses. In the fourth quarter, though, I felt like they brought the ball up swiftly. The long jumpers created some advantages for Brooklyn in transition. It was a snowball effect. And that's the problem, is out of timeouts after a 9-11 point lead in this game, the Blazers took some bad shots. Dame especially took some bad mid-range shots. And Brooklyn played off of it and got momentum. So, I mean, yeah, you could sit here and blame Dame for the entire team standing around and the entire team isolating, but, I mean, the solution is not that simple. Like, yeah, if Dame passes it to Nas and everybody's standing still and Nas looks like he doesn't know what to do because he's not that type of creator, of course Dame is going to clap for it back. Mm-hmm. Of course he is. What do you want him to do? Just sit there like, no, Nas, try and isolate against Kevin Durant. No, Sharpe, even though your ball handling is like the one area of his game that he really needs to work on. No, Sharpe, yeah, go ahead and ISO against Kevin Durant. Let's see if you can ISO against him. I won't ISO. I won't try and create anything even though I'm the best offensive player. No, you do it. I'm just going to stand back and not have any interest in this possession. You expect Dame to do that? I don't understand. Anyway, Eric, I'm ranting too much. Go ahead.
I think we might have missed the donation that I can't get back to.
I think we did too, right at the start of the stream. Whoever it was, sorry. It was a $2 dono. So whoever it was, oh well, I can't find it. I blame YouTube because they don't have a donation feed that stays, that keeps donos up there. So shout out Mr. Pyan, member for 7 months, says please come back soon, Gary, and no Trendon, question mark. Yeah, no Trendon tonight. Eubanks played, but yeah, Gary Payton II would have been nice today. And then shout out Arrowhead, $5 donation, says was at the game, and man, that half ref missed so many calls, and Nurk needs help. We need him bad. I feel like the coach needed to pull him. Not hating.
Half ref? What does that mean?
I don't know what half ref means. Thank you, Arrowhead, for the $5 donation. The coach needed to pull Nurkic?
Oh, it was yeah, I remember it now. Hold on. But okay. you can finish that.
I mean, Nurk was 5 for 8 inside the arc. That's what, 63%, and the rest of the team was like 39-40% inside the arc. I mean, Nurk, I don't understand all the Nurk hate at all. This team, I don't know. This team had many more issues than Nurkic. He's 5 for 8 from 2.
He misses the couple free throws towards the end. He missed 3 out of 4, but then hits the big one when it mattered. Mm-hmm. But overall, he's 7-11. You take that from Nurkic. He's shooting 85% for the year. I don't understand how anyone could blame Nurkic for this game. And I saw a comment in chat earlier, like, Nurk needed to dominate the weak Nicholas Claxton inside. Every time he got the ball inside, he pretty much dominated this when we posted him up. We just went away from it. And the one he missed, the lay-in he missed in the fourth quarter was like on a fast break. He's got to finish that. But like I mean, I don't understand. I guess it's dumb.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I saw a lot of people. I don't know. Okay, before this game, let me just say this. Or go ahead.
I just want to say this. I saw this all over Twitter. He missed so many easy layups. He missed 3 shots the entire night. What are you talking about?
The rest of the team missed everything. Like, I don't understand.
You guys are just you see him miss a lay-in. He missed a lay-in in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden it's like, see, he can't finish. Like, you just ignore every freaking thing else the rest of the game. It makes no sense.
I'm not trying to be mean about this Nurkic stuff. I just don't understand, Arrow. And, once again, thank you for donating, showing some love, showing some support. I just don't understand. I had an argument before the game with somebody that said Nurkic just missed a game because he had a bruise and then he comes back and he's rusty. That's just an excuse or something like that. Like, he missed a whole week because he had an adductor strain, not because he had a bruise. And it's like people just make up injuries, like change what his injury actually was just to criticize him. I don't know. I don't understand the Nurk stuff. I don't want to spend a bunch of time because we spent a bunch of time on it last game. I just, like, when the rest of the team shoots 38% from the field and Nurkic is 5 for 8 and then 0 for 1 from 3, but 5 for 9, he's over 50%. I can't sit here criticizing the guy. I just can't. Like, that. It's just funny that for some people it seems like the rest of the team can play terribly. And that's the first guy that comes to mind. Nurkic can be 60% from 2, the rest of the team 40, and the first thing that comes to mind for people is Nurk's lanes, no matter what. It's like any frustrating game, the frustration automatically gets put towards Nurk. And it's I don't know. Like, for somebody, I try and analyze the game unbiasedly and just say my honest opinion. I don't know. That stuff bothers me because I try not to just like pick one guy and harp on him. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Laser, 10 Australian dollar dono says, do you guys think Dame is going to put up more 20-point, 10-assist games, or is he going to be more of a primary scorer? I mean, Dame would have been a primary scorer tonight if he hit shots. He had 25 points, but only shot 8 for 24. You know, if he goes 12 for 24, that's what, 35 probably, makes a couple threes. Like,
well, people can make shots too. He would have had more assists.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see any reason why. Like, he's not doing anything crazy to get 10 assists the last 2 games, or 11 assists, whatever it was the last 2 games. I don't see any reason why that's not sustainable, and he can still get his as well. So yeah, I do think you're going to see several more 20-10 games from him throughout the season.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have to score 40 really. I mean, he doesn't have to normally.
Yeah, normally. Thank you to Laser for the 10 Australian dollar dono. Brian Tavish, $2 dono says, easy money, JK. That is officially a jinx. I wanted to walk away from that being a jinx, Eric, but that will never not be a freaking jinx.
That was the other $2 donation. It was from Rollers Kate. Thank you. She said, wait, some YouTuber made a jinx of this game on a show earlier today. So
yeah, I said Blazers easy money, 2.5-point favorites. Well, I mean, I didn't expect them to come out and play this terribly, and I mean, this game still would have went into overtime if they, I don't know, put some length in instead of Ant and Dame on the final possession, so they could have gotten a rebound, right? And they probably cover if it goes to overtime. I feel like they finally would have waken up. So, you know, but yeah, jinx quote for sure. I wanted to walk away from the jinx. I don't like believing in jinxes, and whenever I try and prove that a jinx isn't true to myself or to you guys, it ends up being true. So that's why I have a wooden desk. That's why I have a wooden. This is wood for a reason. I need. If I switch to like a glass desk, I'll have to have a slab of wood up here.
As Rollers Kate says, quit deflecting, Tori. Just accept that you jinxed them tonight.
Nah, I mean, I just said I jinxed them like 5 times. You want me to sit here and say it like 200 times in a row? I can't if you need me to. But yeah, jinxes are real. That's my whole point. Jinxes are real. But yeah, I mean, Blazers, I was surprised they're only 2.5-point favorites. I thought they should have been higher, but this team is not playing well right now, Eric. This is 3 games in a row this team has not played well.
Yep, it's frustrating. Yeah. What did you think of that call on the challenge by the Nets that it was an offensive foul on Winslow?
I'm gonna get mad again. I just calmed down. Dude, how in the hell is that? That's so stupid. Like, first off, there was a foul earlier on that possession where Dame got upended.
He got leveled, yeah.
He got leveled. Call the freaking first one.
Why can't they review the whole play?
I know. Like, get the hell out of here. So they missed that call, okay? Then Dame gets upended, right? And the thing is, if they didn't call the second one, there would have been nothing to challenge, and we would have had a Sharpe dunk, and Sharpe would have had 22 points instead of 20, and maybe we win this game. So it's like the fact that they finally called a foul for Dame actually backfired. And then the challenge, like, okay, so if there's a dude going in for a wide-open layup, right, and you have another one of his teammates standing beside him with, like, his arms to his side, you can just catapult yourself like you just run straight into the play, upend the dude, but because you ran into his teammate's arm, it's an offensive freaking foul? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like he just ran right into his arm, and then it looks like Winslow clotheslined him because of his reaction. So, like, I understood why they called it later, but yeah, it's just...
Dude, shoot, I guess Dame should start running into guys and falling and, you know... Even if they stand there and don't do anything, right? Just run into guys. Oh, wait. He runs into guys. They can run into him when he jumps, run into his legs, upend him, send him sprawling to the floor into the first row, and it's not a foul. He doesn't get that call, but when Seth Curry runs with no chance of getting back in the play, is going to literally take out Dame if Winslow isn't there with the way he's running in, but he runs into Winslow's arm, and y'all overturn that. That's just pathetic. That's so pathetic, dude. I mean, this ref crew was... There's the other play where, like, KD upended Hart on a loose ball, and then Jeremy Grant did the same thing to Joe Harris. They didn't call the foul on KD, but they made sure to call the foul on Jeremy Grant. I mean, the refs pissed me off in this game, too. Everything bothered me in this game.
They went on a huge run, too, in the first half when Jeremy Grant comes down, and I think it was Joe Harris, might have been someone else, but they kick the ball the other way, it rolls out of bounds, and they call it off Jeremy.
Oh yeah, that one was absolutely horrible.
How do you go this way? The defender comes this way, the ball goes this way,
and then Jeremy Grant could have picked it up, and he doesn't.
Yeah, so he obviously didn't touch it, but no, that was off Jeremy. Somehow he magically tipped the ball backwards like this while going this way, and the defender's going this way. Makes no sense. That was frustrating. And then, of course, they had a freaking 3 off that.
Yep. I mean, screw that ref crew. That was absolutely horrific, dude. Like, there are some other calls that bother me, but like, I understand getting bang calls wrong, but oh my god. Oh my god. There was another and one, or should have been an and one. I think it was one of Grant's 2 buckets where he just got leveled on a layup and he didn't get a call, man. It's like, since we've had things called for us correctly because we attack the paint a ton, earlier in the season we had things called correctly. Now it's like, oh, you're not going to get those calls anymore because you're getting too many free throws. You're the Portland Trailblazers. And we just remembered that you are Portland, so you don't get those calls. Get screwed. That's how I feel like. That's the stage of refereeing we're at right now, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we didn't end up using the challenge. There was a couple of plays. There was a Nurk block that he got called for a foul on, and then there was that play where Durant drives and shoves Jeremy Grant out of the way, and that's somehow a foul on Jeremy.
Yeah, and the Nurk block, yeah. Eric, I know we had this debate a couple games ago. This is why I'm not a fan of saving your challenge just to save it. We didn't use our challenge in this game.
Yep. 2 points
in a 2-point game where there was multiple calls that were obviously bad. This is why I'm not What? So we could save it so that, we can overturn an out-of-bounds call that was off them, but they called off us in the final minute. Why don't you just overturn the first one that's obviously off them that got called off us with Grant and that whole play where he let the ball go that you just explained. Like, at least use your challenge. That's a change of possession. And then they hit a 3. Instead, it's like, okay, take that 3 off the board. Would have saved 3 points because it would have been our ball instead. I mean, come on. That's another thing that Chauncey failed at in this game. He didn't use his challenge. That's why I'm not a fan of saving it. Like, statistically, it does not make sense to save it. Mathematically, it does not make sense to save it.
Yep.
I need water.
All right, I'll read out these donations. Roger with the $2 donation. This stream is so therapeutic. God bless you guys. Thanks, Roger, for the donation. Appreciate the love there. And then Gray Hughes Investigates. Thank you for another $5 donation. Why do you think the other players didn't look for Sharpe after he made so many and was hot? 9 shots, crazy.
Yeah, Kevin, we took care of that. Yeah, Gray. Sorry, we just had someone in chat we had to ban. Where are our mods at? Okay, Trevin's here. Cool. Here's the problem with Sharpe. He's not good enough to create out of isolation yet. Like, he can, but consistently, he's not. He needs to improve his ball handling, is what it is. His ball handling is still weak. And we knew that coming into the draft. We talked about that before we even drafted him. Like, his ball handling needs to get better. He has the ability with just how he moves and how light he is on his feet and his footwork and everything else. He has the ability to be like a really deadly player off the dribble, but his ball handling needs to catch up, right? So, the thing is, when games get stagnant and he ends up in the corner and nobody's moving, is what does he do? Or what does anybody else do if they're not in a set? Like, I would love for when Sharpe's in the corner and he's having a good game and there's somebody else on his side of the floor on the wing, I would love for that person to just in freelance screen down for Sharpe. Just set a pin down for him to come off of. Like, just think the freaking game. You're stagnant as hell. It's not working. You have this dude that's been on fire and you're just standing there. Well, why, just set him a pin down. At worst, you guys swap places while somebody else isolates. At best, he comes off the screen and makes something happen. Like, just think the freaking game. That's something that it's like, I can't put on, whoever's isolating, and I can't even necessarily put that on Chauncey. I mean, Chauncey should be pointing that out, but he might have. We don't know. That's the thing. That's where you got to have players on the court that think the game properly.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing is, too, we did run one back screen for him. Dame throws a terrible pass on the wrong side of the hoop and low, and Sharpe still catches it and finishes it, right? And then we don't run any action for him again. He proved on that play, you don't even have to run the play right. You can throw it terribly, and he's still going to get it and score most likely. So, like, where, like you said, where was the sets for him in the second half? Where's like the design, penetration, and kick out to him on the opposite side, maybe off a screen on the block or something. There's just no action for him. So it's all up for him to be spontaneous. And a lot of the times he's catching the ball and just doing a step back shot, or one of his buckets was like a pull up in transition from just inside the 3-point line. Another one of his buckets was a lob in transition. So he's getting out and running and stuff, and we're looking for him there. But, yeah, within the flow of the offense, I mean, this is not just a Sharpe thing. It's several guys aren't moving enough to get the ball enough. And if they were, I think we would notice and find them, because Sharpe, he's getting that reputation like we talked about last game, to where if he starts cutting baseline, it's going to take a defender with him, and it may not even result in him getting a shot, but it will open up something for someone else, most likely. And they need to take advantage of that more as he gets that reputation.
Yep, I agree with Arrowhead, what he said in chat. Josh stood around a lot, too. Josh needs to move more, too. I agree. Absolutely. Josh is standing too much, and it's part of the first unit being very ISO-heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought Josh tried to be aggressive at the beginning of this game. Oh, that's another thing we haven't talked about. Hey, what do you know? We were down like 9-1 or something again, right?
Of course we were. Dude, after this team, they're trying to outdo themselves, because after one possession today, they were down 4 points. After one possession. Like, of course this team figures out a way to be down 4 points after one freaking possession. Like, if we just erase the 9-1 start, yeah, we win this game by 6. Cool. Right? Obviously, butterfly effect. Who knows what happens? But, dude, we, like, at this point, if this continues, you know what you have to do, Eric? You have to think about starting Shaedon Sharpe.
Yeah.
Because this game changed when he subbed into the game.
Yeah.
At that point, you have to think about maybe bringing Josh Hart off the bench. Because it's not even like you're going to use Josh Hart as a defensive stopper, like how he should be used. He's only used as a defensive stopper when he's guarding KD, which, like, Hart or Sharpe, I don't think it makes a difference. But then when you play against good guards, he isn't the one guarding De'Aaron Fox or whoever. That's Jeremy Grant for whatever freaking reason. So it's like, okay, well, at that point, obviously that stuff is combined with other things leading to some bad starts. That's when you maybe mix up the starting lineup, because this has become a consistent theme where they come out terribly. What do you think? If this continues, do you start Shaedon Sharpe?
Well, here's the problem. I think then who the heck's going to score off the bench?
Stacker guys more.
Yeah, I kind of like how Sharpe was. I kind of like him being the guy off the bench scoring. But unfortunately,
I mean, but it's
we
like
go away from him, yeah.
But here's the problem. And like he's playing great. He's playing like insanely well. Like, dude, I couldn't in my most optimistic imagination, Sharpe doesn't play this well. He's 7 for 9 tonight. Going into this game, he was almost like 50% from the field and 50% from 3, and then he's 4 for 5. Dude, I think he's over 50% from 3 right now. And one of those was a tough step back. Like, we need to get him more threes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we run all these sets for Ben freaking McLemore, who shot 36% last year. Why don't we run him for Shaedon Sharpe? I think Shaedon Sharpe's a better shooter than Ben McLemore. I mean, what the hell, man? So going into this game on the season, he was 14 for 30. He's now 18 for 35. Guess what? That's over 50%.
Yep.
I don't know what the point was when I started that ramble, but yeah, he's phenomenal. But I was gonna say this though. Like, yeah, he's playing great, but every game we're relying on him to come in and dig us out of a hole.
Mm-hmm.
Which is ridiculous.
It's kind of like what happened in Summer League with Jabari Walker. It's like we got down every game, and then Jabari Walker would come in and have this like huge plus minus, and then we'd win. But yeah, I don't understand why we can't get off to better starts. It's so frustrating. We just give up open threes, and I think we didn't talk about this much last year because they were hedging the screens a lot with Nurk. But I feel like at the beginning of games, we're not aggressive enough, especially on defense. And that sets the tone of the game, you know? And I feel like if we just came out with some like super aggressive traps on their best player, get the ball out of their hands immediately, kind of throw them off their rhythm, I feel like that could set the tone, especially if you get a turnover or something. Yeah, you might give up an open three, but you're giving up open threes not playing aggressive anyway at the beginning of games. So what does that matter? What does that change anything? So I'd like to be like super aggressive on defense and just get after
know
it.
what the solution is?
Well, one of the solutions would be to not start with Grant on the person and have him be the trapper instead.
But also, you know what might help Chauncey say, oh, maybe we shouldn't put Jeremy Grant up against De'Aaron Fox and John Morant, is if you had Gary Payton II in the starting unit.
Yeah.
That might be the solution, man. When he's hopefully healthy at some point. Because we need a spark. But I feel like if this continues and Peyton gets healthy, I feel like that might be the solution. Aggressive defense, set the tone from the start of the game, then you have Sharpe's spark off the bench.
Yeah, because, I mean, imagine having that spark with, like, a lead and then the bench increasing the lead. We actually, our best run of this game was with Dame and Ant on the bench. Ant had 2 fouls, and Dame had to sit out because he can't play the whole first half. And we actually went on a run without Dame and Ant in the game, and it was an amazing stretch, mostly because of Sharps, but they were playing good defense and getting out and running in transition and finishing. And then Chauncey subs Ant back in, and I think Eubanks came in too, and all of a sudden we started playing bad, and they immediately come back, and yeah, it's just so frustrating because we played so well at times in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Eubanks didn't play well. Had that stretch where he gets rim checked and throws a pass right to a defensive player that Dame almost dug out and ended up in a turnover. But I didn't hear anything about that. Imagine if Nurkic got rim checked on a dunk, like a somewhat open dunk, like Eubanks did. Those would be half our comments in chat.
So.
Yeah, but I mean that's just what I'm saying, man. Like I don't know. I'm gonna have that same energy for Eubanks, which probably ain't fair because he's a lot cheaper. But dude, it's like he came in. I mean, we had to see how many comments do we have to see after the game a couple days ago? Eubanks is better. Eubanks is better. Eubanks is better. Eubanks been good this year. He wasn't good tonight. Nurkic was better than him tonight. Like,
he was okay in the first half, but yeah.
Second half he was bad. I mean, I don't know. Like, he's been good this year. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with him being our backup center. It's just funny to see him do some things where it's just like, if he was our starting center for 5 years, I wonder how people would feel about this, because they don't seem to really feel any type of way. This dude gets rim checked on a layup. That was frustrating for me.
Wasn't it Arrowhead who had the donation?
Yeah, I have to read off his most recent one.
Against Nurk, though, earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's saying, anyone else love the energy Eubanks brought? So,
what?
it's okay for him, but yeah.
I mean, Eubanks was a -4 in 18 minutes. Nurkic was a +5 in 25 minutes. I don't know. Like, Eubanks is a little quicker, so he looks like he's bringing more energy because he moves faster, but what it has to mean something. Like, I can go out there and get, you could probably find the most energetic person in the world, and they would, just bounce around the court and probably foul out in 2 minutes, right? Like, energy doesn't mean anything unless you're turning it into something. Like, production means something to me, not energy. Sometimes the team needs a spark of energy because they're playing flat, but I mean, that energy spark wasn't Eubanks, it was Nas and it was Sharpe. I mean, Nas sucked this game. He was 1 for 6 in 13 minutes, but he was a +7, and when he came in, he had a good block, had a good drive, like, kind of changed the tone of the game. And they go on that run. Anyway, let me thank a couple donuts. Shout out Arrowhead, $5 donation says, bro, yes, that's what I said earlier, that bald white ref had the most obvious of calls and refused to call them. Smirk after smirk, fans were pissed. Yeah, the refs were frustrating today. Thank you, Arrowhead, for the $5 donation. Then Brian Tadovich, $2 donation says, could you guys possibly play Billup's post-game interview? I listened to part of it, actually, on the way home. And he talked about how they got stagnant, Eric. He said they got too stagnant. Which, at least he knows they got too stagnant, because he wouldn't have heard that from Terry Stotts.
All right, so what? I kind of want to hear it tonight. I think it'd be a good night. I know you probably don't want to listen to it again, but
I don't want to listen to no. We can listen to Chauncey. I'm not putting the video up though.
Okay.
But we can listen to it for sure. Did he say we just missed shots? If he says we just missed shots, I'm gonna probably throw my hat through the webcam, and all you guys are gonna see is this Vans logo. It's gonna come through your computer or phone screen. Or TV screen. I don't know what you watch us on. But yeah, we can listen to it in a bit.
Man.
What?
Truly Spencer PDX says, all the fans in his section were pleading to bench Nurk. That's how bad he was tonight.
Bro, people were so pathetic. What? I mean, if that's true, then everybody in your section was pathetic, man. Like, I mean, people. At some point, there's going to be a post-game stream where I absolutely lose my shit like never before in regards to how people act about Nurkic. Because it is getting on my freaking nerves. Like, honestly getting on my nerves. You guys have seen me rant. But most of the time, like, I can be pissed off about a game. When I go live, I'll still be mad, but it's, like, controlled. I'm never, like, I don't think I've ever once been out of control on stream. Right? Maybe it seemed that way. I don't know. Because I'm venting and I am truly frustrated, but I've never actually been out of control. This Nurkic stuff is getting out of control. And it's starting to really tick me off.
Trevin said the people sitting next to him were complaining about Nurk, and then he had the block towards the end.
I mean, yeah, and people, I go to my rec league and people there complain about Nurk. I mean, people love complaining about Nurk, man. Unless he's 8 for 8, he's missing too many wide open layups. If he's 7 for 8, well, he missed every wide open layup. Stupid Nurk missed every wide open layup if he's 7 for freaking 8. He's 5 for 8, the rest of the team shoots like crap and people are complaining about him. He's a +5 in the game. Defensively, I don't think he was bad tonight. Had 1 block, should have been 2, but they called him for a bogus foul. And then he hits a clutch layup that almost ties the game, where he's like falling down as he gets fouled and like flipping it up like when he's almost horizontal.
Yeah.
My freaking God.
I mean, it's their favorite thing of other Blazer media to do is just to bash Nurk all the time and make fun of him and complain about him and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's not surprising that people feel that way.
Like, dog, if you're complaining about a dude who shoots 63% from 2 because of what he shot in the paint when the rest of the team without him is probably like 37, 38%, freaking reevaluate your biases. Like, how is Nurkic the biggest problem in this game? I just, Eric, I don't want to get caught up on this again because we did this all last stream, but oh my God.
Him missing free throws down the stretch, yeah, that sucks. I mean, there was a game recently where Dame missed 4 free throws. Was that the Dallas game? That Dame missed 4 free throws, and Ant missed a bunch of free throws in that game, and we lost by 5. He was 7-11 from the line and shooting 85% going into this game.
He's almost shooting an identical mark to Dame.
He's still got to be close to 80% even after tonight. So it's just crazy. I mean, he shot the ball well from the free throw, but I mean, he hit a free throw when it mattered. Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, do you guys not remember Mason Plumlee from the free throw line? Do you want to go back to that? We have a center shooting 85% from the free throw line, but he has a game where he's 7 for 11 from the free throw line, and it's frustrating for people. Like, they can't handle it. So, anyway, yeah, no, the Nurk stuff is seriously like.
Yeah, but he missed 2 free throws. It sucks he missed them, but those were missed shots. That has nothing to do with him playing bad or anything. It's just like.
It's hard for me to ignore when people do that, but also I don't want this to become the Yusuf Nurkic argument post-game show. You know what I mean? Like, because we could get hung up on this again because it pisses me off. But
yeah,
people don't treat that man right. Feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. He's being paid $17 million a year. I would take all that hate too, you know. For $17 million a year and to play basketball, but so I don't feel bad for him, but people need to give that man a break. Anyway, what else from this game, Eric?
Did you have that loaded up, or you still?
I don't know what you're talking about. I assume you're talking about your breakdowns.
Well, those or the Chauncey interview. I don't know if you were. I thought you were loading it up.
Do you have breakdowns?
Yeah.
How many breakdowns you didn't?
3 of them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can watch Chauncey.
You were driving, so.
No, I know. I didn't know until Just got to know somehow. Do you want to do your breakdowns first, or you want to do
sure.
or do you want to do Chauncey? You pick.
Care.
Chat. You pick. We don't care. This is a democracy. You want play breakdowns first, or you want Chauncey first? I feel like they're going to say Chauncey because everybody wants to hear what Chauncey said.
Also, this game did change when we started playing through Nurk in the post, and he was beasting in the first half. So, like, I don't understand that either.
He didn't do it often enough, so that's on him. No, you know, we didn't run anything for him. But
how is that on him if they stop posting him up, like, or he gets taken out of the game?
Well, he should have just made more layups. That's how it is, man. That's how those arguments be like. So, Portland Trailblazers channel. Let me pull it up here, and then nope, not the highlights. We need the post game. There's the post game. The post game's not even live. How am I supposed to watch a post game that's not even live? Can somebody send me a link or something then? I guess we'll do breakdowns first. Do we think the Brian Tadovich, was that what got this started? Or did he just add on with that? Shout out Brian Tadovich, $2 donor. Could you guys possibly play Billups post-game interview? Yeah, when it's live. I don't have a link or anything, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But we'll do breakdowns instead after we think this last donor. Do you want to think the last donor?
The laser one.
Yeah, Laser
Australian $5 donation. Do you guys think that starting all scorers at the start to build a lead and set the tone, and then put in defensive players in the first? No, I don't. I think we need balanced lineups. And I think we need to set the tone with defense. Like I said, be aggressive on defense. I just feel like we're too conservative on defense. We're kind of laying back and letting them kind of dictate the flow of started games. We're not trying to take them out right away. I feel like Chauncey's kind of saving stuff for later. Like we hardly ran any zone tonight, and then we tried to run it a couple times in the fourth quarter. Didn't really work very well, but I don't know. I just wish we'd come out with a little bit more aggressive mindset on defense and set the tone that way, especially if we're going to run a defensive lineup. There's no point in not doing that, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the last dono.
And then we have a $5 donation from
Dreadhead. It says, don't understand the Nurkic hate. Solid center with elite passing out of the high post. Unfortunately, his passing hasn't really been utilized at all this year. So I've liked his passing. It seemingly maybe regressed a little bit and then just is not utilized, which I don't think is a big deal. But yeah, I mean, he's solid. You look at any other center, Valanciunas has his issues. Steven Adams, Pirtle has games like this. Like every other solid starting center like this. Yeah, he's not Bam, but even Bam has games where he's like 4 for 14 and misses some pretty easy shots around the rim. Like, I don't know. It's easier said than done. People think just because you're 7 foot means that you're supposed to make everything within 10 feet of the rim, but you're also going up usually against other 7-footers, so it's not as easy as it seems.
Kevin says Chauncey doesn't want him to make those backdoor passes to Dame, and it's very odd to me. That's not true. He doesn't want him to throw the pass when it's not there, like one time tonight where Dame was double-teamed and Nurk threw it anyway. And Nurk tried to tell him he thought it was open, and Chauncey was like, "Nah, it wasn't." and Nurk said, "Okay." So,
I mean that pass. I think Dame got held.
Yeah.
I think Dame might have been able to get to it if Dame didn't get held.
Yeah, but there was still a guy sneaking on near the rim. Even if he caught it, he would have been double teamed, and yeah.
No, he would have had a. Are we talking about different plays? Because he would have had a wide open layup.
No, there was a play. The play I'm talking about where Chauncey specifically told Nurk not to throw that pass and to be better was there was a play where he kind of threw it. It wasn't him going to the rim. He kind of went straight to the baseline in between the 3-point line and the rim, and they had a guy shading over there.
Was that the ball that went out of bounds?
It got tipped out of bounds, yeah, but...
And it was our ball still?
Yeah, we retained possession.
Oh, I was talking about the one that we didn't retain possession on that went out of bounds where he tried to hit Lillard for a backdoor cut. You know which play I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And the ball went out of bounds. Like, that was there.
Chauncey
I thought Dame got held.
on that one.
Yeah. And honestly, like, those are the types of turnovers I can live with. Because if the pass does connect, it's a layup, right? So it's like, if it's a 50-50 shot where it goes out of bounds or it's a layup, like, that's okay odds. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, if it is a turnover, which it ended up being, you can get back and set your defense, and it's not like they're going to leak out and run and get an easy layup off the turnover, right? So it's not necessarily a terrible turnover compared to, passing straight to somebody defensively who then gets a wide open layup. And also, it's like if that pass gets through, it's going to be a layup for Dame. So those are the types of turnovers, like, fans will get mad about it, and it's like, I can live with those. We're making 17, 18 turnovers a game, and 10 of them are boneheaded, and 5 of them result in really good shots for the other team. So, yeah, you got to pick your spots and whatnot, but that's the type of risk that, the downside isn't as bad, so it's all risk versus reward.
Yeah, I don't think Chauncey had a problem with that particular play.
Yeah,
I think it was just the other
I think
one.
we're talking about, different plays, I agree. Anyway, it's time for Brant's breakdown, Eric. Play number 1.
All right, so this is going to be an example of what I was talking about that's driving me crazy with Chauncey Billups having heart on Kevin Durant. So we have Ant gets 2 fouls, right? We sub in Justice Winslow for Anthony Simons. So we have Justice Winslow and Jeremy Grant in this game right now. Jeremy Grant's up top on ball guarding Edmund Sumner, and Winslow's guarding whoever the heck's in the corner, Curry or Harris or whoever that was. And we have Josh Hart on Durant, just like game planned by Chauncey in this game. And let's take a look at what happens here. So Sumner's going to get a pick from Claxton. He's going to have to pass to Claxton. Doesn't really get an advantage. In the second slide, Jeremy Grant's over there sitting in the corner. Nurk's watching as, I think that's Royce O'Neal, goes to set a screen on Josh Hart. And so Josh Hart actually does a pretty good job of getting back into the play, even though on the third slide he's a little bit trailing the play. But ends up getting back to KD. And KD just simply drives, and in the fourth slide, we see him just shoot right over the top of Hart and score as Jeremy Grant just stands there the whole time. And driving me crazy. In the second half, we put Grant in the fourth quarter on Kevin Durant. He wasn't getting to these type of shots where he could easily shoot over the top of people. He had Jeremy Grant block one of his shots and had a hand in his face numerous times. Great contests. And it wasn't that easy. But in the first quarter and the third quarter, when we came out of halftime, we just easily let KD get to his spots and score because we had Hart on him. And Hart's not doing anything wrong here. He's in perfect position, fights through the screen, gets there, and he's still not lengthy enough to contend the shot. It makes no sense to me why Hart isn't where Jeremy Grant is right now and Grant isn't on Durant this whole time.
Yeah. It's pretty simple. Put Hart on the good guards that run a lot of pick and rolls. Put Jeremy Grant on the good forwards that have a lot of length. Simple.
Or Winslow.
He's doing it the opposite. He's doing it the opposite. But then, if you sub in Justice Winslow, okay. I mean, he's shooting over Justice Winslow too, though. He's
at least. But Winslow's going to be physical. He probably pushes him out to where he doesn't even get to that spot, or at least makes it a little tougher. But
I mean, don't do it backwards, Chauncey. Stop doing it freaking backwards. It makes no sense. You put Hart on KD, but then you'll put Jeremy Grant on De'Aaron Fox and John Morant. God, frustrating. Anyway, all right. Play number two. In here. Yeah, what do you got for us?
And look who we have on Durant this time. It's Shaedon Sharpe, which I'm actually okay with because you know what? He's got length and he can jump out of the gym to contest the shot as long as he doesn't make a dumb foul, right? Mm-hmm. So we have a situation where we have Shaedon Sharpe one-on-one. Durant tries to drive. Shaedon stays in front of him the whole time, moves his feet. Durant has to kick out in the second slide. And then in the so we have it, Winslow, or I think that's Winslow, might be
Winslow's bottom corner. Grant's stunting.
Grant's helping here. Good help because you don't really need to. Sumner didn't do anything in this game, if that's who that is. That might have been Cam Thomas at this time.
Yeah, that's Cam Thomas.
But yeah, Grant easily recovers out to him, and then off the pass, and then Durant wants it back because he still has the rookie on him, right? So he passes down, and Sharpe stands him up again. But Durant's so focused on taking advantage of Sharpe, he doesn't see Winslow sneaking behind him. And this was a great play by Winslow. He goes and pretty much just snatches the ball right from Kevin Durant's left-handed back dribble there. But unfortunately, Winslow misses the ball and loses it. Grant falls over. Sharpe thinks it's a steal and starts running the other way. And KD ends up with the ball past all three of them and gets what should have been a wide open lay-in. But you notice where Eubanks is right here. He's guarding Ben Simmons in the dunker spot. And so Durant decides to kick it out to Joe Harris, who's really hot so far. And yeah, this should have been like a 3-on-0 fast break going the other way, and instead it ends up with actually that's Curry at this time. Harris is subbed out. Eubanks does about as good of a job as he can from where he was to get out there and kind of distract Curry. You're not going to get all the way out there, so that was fine. But Curry shoots this, misses it. We get the rebound, push the tempo. This is another play where we pushed, and Grant with the lob to Sharpe at the back end of this play, and Sharpe gets an amazing alley-oop dunk.
Yeah, I mean, a little easier to fast break when you have 3 players already running the other way.
Fun sequence there.
That was a fun sequence, absolutely. That was chaotic. But that's the thing, is like that bench lineup can create some chaos and thrive in it. The starting lineup was just mundane stagnation. Mm-hmm. It was not good.
But this is no Dame, no Ant in the game right now, and we started pushing the tempo. We let our athletes do their athlete thing. We were playing good defense. Like, this was actually a really good defensive possession. It almost turned into a disaster because Winslow misses the ball, even though he made an incredible play. But yeah, it turned into a highlight reel.
Yep. All right, play number 3.
And then this is a couple plays later. So this is what Chauncey was going to, I think in the post game, someone said he said he missed some coverages or something. But anyways, they're getting back on defense, and we have Winslow going to Sharpe and pointing like, "Hey man, there's a guy in the corner. You need to guard him." And so Sharpe kind of still hesitates to go out there. It's Cam Thomas, and so he's late getting out there, and the pass goes up to him in the corner. Sharpe's going to kind of run at him, but not really close out well. Cam Thomas is going to drive baseline, and Sharpe, I think, thinks Winslow's going to cut him off, but he's trying to guard Kevin Durant, so he's not really thinking help here. He's thinking Sharpe needs to get back and cut him off. And so Sharpe gets just completely blown by on this play. Cam Thomas has a wide open lay-in. Or does he? Nas Little comes from out of nowhere. Great help side rim protection. Stuffs the bucket. And then they go the other way. Sharpe gets the rebound, dribbles it up, and shoots a shot just inside the three-point line, which he swishes. And just great defense, help defense there, even though Sharpe made a mistake. Nas is there to help him out. And then once again, pushing the tempo leads to an open jumper. And, yeah, just really fun few minutes. And I felt like we were really looking at something that we could exploit for the rest of the game. And then we never really went back to this lineup or played with that same kind of fast-breaking attitude or mindset the rest of the game.
Yep. Yeah, those are the type of defensive plays that Nas needs to make.
This would have been something that would have been really amazing. Like, we're talking about it now. I mean, in a loss, but if we win this game, this is going to be like the most fun part of this game, right? And now all of a sudden it's like a bummer because we played well at times but couldn't finish it off.
Yeah. So yeah, god damn it. I'm just not happy at all whatsoever right now. I just really bad loss. 10-5. Are we still first in the West? I mean, does it even matter? Like, the early season doesn't, still gotta try and win as many easy games as possible. Or not easy games per se, but games you should win. I mean, the Blazers are still worst. Games, yeah, Blazers are still first in the West. They're 10-5. Mm-hmm. Phoenix and Denver are 9-5, and then Utah's 10-6. We're only one game ahead of New Orleans, though. They're 9-6. Memphis is 9-6. We're only 1.5 games ahead of 9th place LA Clippers. They're 9-7. So, yeah. Shoot, we're only 3 games ahead of OKC. Like, they're in 11th. This team hasn't accomplished anything. Okay? I hope these guys aren't getting a little complacent with their early season success, because they haven't accomplished anything yet. We're 15 games into the season. Cool. Great start. I would have absolutely loved 10-5, right? But it can't be some situation where these guys stop playing the same way or think like, okay, well, we're a good team now. We can do what we want. Or they lose focus or they lose that chip on their shoulder or anything. Like, that's how they've shown us, and they should have shown themselves how they need to play in order to win basketball games. You can't get away from that and then expect to still win basketball games. Like, it's pretty obvious what works, what doesn't, how they got to play. They got to move the ball. They got to compete defensively. I feel like that's been lacking a little bit the past couple of games, and that's what we need from this team. So this team hasn't accomplished crap yet. They gotta know that, you know. Gotta play better than this.
Yep.
Yup.
Yeah, so we beat the Spurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the greatest game, but we find a way to win, right? We don't really play well, right?
What are you? Are you responding to the troll in chat?
No, I'm asking you, Tori.
Okay, good, because I don't even want to go down that road.
No, I'm not talking to chat. Okay, so we beat the Spurs, right? We barely beat them. It was a tough game. We probably should have lost, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden after the game, there's an article out about Chauncey and Dame and their defense and their dedication to defense, and everyone's feeling Chauncey's accountability and stuff. Nas does an interview with Sean Hyken where he says it's okay, like he of course wants to play, but it's a sacrifice we're all making, and we're winning games and stuff. But like, so I just got the feeling that they were kind of feeling themselves for, I mean, yeah, you're 10-5. It's great. I'm happy, but like you can't, like you said, get complacent. And those kind of things they were saying were more like, "Oh, we've arrived. This is us now. We're good," type of thing. And you have to have that attitude that you haven't arrived at all the whole year. Like, you have to fight for it. You have to grind, and you can't get that way. You can't ever let up on that. If Dame wants to bring that attitude on defense, he's got to do it like 100% of the time, or it doesn't mean anything that you did it in game 15 against the Spurs, So
every team has their let-ups and stuff, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So it's like this team, but it's 2 let-ups in a row. Yeah, I know they got a win, they got lucky. I mean, they earned the win down the stretch, but it's like that's a game they easily could have lost. There's been a number of games they easily could have lost. Like, this team could easily be 8-7 or 7-8, right? But we'd be sitting here saying, okay, well, it's a tough schedule. They're fine. Like, they've barely lost some games that they could have won, right? So that would maybe be the conversation. Obviously, it doesn't look as good as in the standings, but like, we are 3 games ahead of 11th. There's no separation here. It's not a situation where, like,
if you let up, you're toast. Like, you're gonna get passed up and back into the play-in really fast.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the West. So okay, cool. Congrats, you're one of them. People were sleeping on you before the season, absolutely. But
I mean, if you finish in the play-in, all those people were right, though, right?
I mean, or people had us like 10th and 11th. We are not a 10th or 11th caliber team.
I mean, you just said we're not obvious. That far away from being there, though,
Yeah, but this team is playing at a higher level than anybody expected from it. And it's not just the results. It's how they've won games, down guys, against good teams, against a hard schedule, more games on the road than at home. They actually have a better record on the road than at home, right? Like, so it's more than just, oh, they're 3 games ahead of 11th. But still, the point is that it's a long process. They started off on the right foot. They then can't get stagnant and stop improving and stop, playing the right way. You guys keep marching. It's a marathon. You had a good start to the marathon. Okay, awesome. You got to keep running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, let me clarify something. So Taylor Packer says that what Nas says is cocky. What else did he say? I'm not saying he was cocky. What my point with that, I didn't really finish it, sorry, was that this kind of stuff, the fun attitude, the sacrifice for the team. Nas only playing 15 minutes most games. Sharpe not getting to play more tonight when he probably should have played a lot more, you know? Those kind of things are fine when you're winning. But if we all of a sudden lose like 3 out of 4 or something, then what attitude does that have then? Like, how does your attitude change? So like, if Nas is only playing 15 minutes and we're 5-10, is he happy he's sacrificing? No, he's not, right? He's wanting to play more and thinks he can make a difference if you give him that chance. So that's my only concern is with this sacrifice. It's good when we're winning. It's great. But is it going to start to wear on guys if the wins aren't accompanying that? So that's I hope we never have to answer that question.
Case,
hopefully we don't, right? Hopefully we don't.
I mean, I don't think this team is that mentally weak. So, but it's, I mean, a Dame-led team has never been that mentally weak, even with some questionable guys. Like, I'm not worried about that, you know. But it's just that's the thing. Success when a team.
That's exactly what happened last year, wasn't it? I mean, obviously Dame injury, but
I mean, Dame wasn't even here. Like, Dame wasn't himself. So a healthy Dame-led team has never been like that. Like, we've had teams that have had terrible starts and then they go on a 13-game winning streak and get the 3 seed, right? So I'm not worried about if they lose 3 or 4. They've lost 2 of 3, like, multiple times. I mean, they're basically winning every other game right now. So after every loss, it's like, well, they've lost 2 out of 3. Then after every win, it's like, well, they've won 2 out of 3. So I'm not worried about if they lose 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 or whatever, especially if it's against tough opponents. But you know, it's just you can't let success, early season success, provide a level of comfort to where you rely on what's easy. Because they started off the season doing what's hard, playing the right way, moving the ball, like giving a ton of effort on defense. The problem is for a lot of teams, if they start off the season hot, then it's like, okay, well, we're successful now, and then they get a little too comfortable, and then they stop doing those things, and then they stop winning games. So that's what it comes down to for me, I think.
Yeah. It just... They put themselves in a position where if they don't win on Saturday and then go on this tough 4-game road trip. So Dro's asking what their next 10 games are. I don't know what 10 games out is, but
I can
their
tell
next
you.
5 games are Utah Saturday, and then we go on a 4-game road trip against Milwaukee, Cleveland, New York, and Brooklyn again.
And then they come home, they play the Clippers, go on the road, they play the Lakers and Jazz. Okay, that's the next, 8? And then they come home and play the Pacers and the Nuggets. So, pretty difficult. Because the Pacers have been solid this year. Obviously, the Jazz, they're starting to struggle. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't put it past this team to lose to Utah than go on the road to beat Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Like, if this team goes up against a good team, they'll probably play the right way and play hard, you know? So, I mean, they've risen up to every challenging opponent in challenging situations so far. The only game they haven't, they got blown out against Phoenix the night after they beat them off a buzzer beater, after they really rose up to the challenge without Dame against and weren't they without Ant that game? I forget. I think they were without Ant that game too. Yeah, and they still and they beat the Suns on the road, a healthy Suns team. So this team rises to challenges. It's just can they find consistency? Because even during the course of games, they can't find consistency, let alone game to game against teams that aren't as challenging. So can they mentally find that sort of consistency is just what it comes down to for this team. I'm tired of the runs. I'm tired of just the inconsistency, the slow starts, and all that. Anyway, we got the Chauncey Billups interview. So I'll play the audio to that.
Okay, let me switch over to the YouTube.
Yeah. We just really never got a flow in the fourth quarter. I thought the end of the third quarter really hurt us. 2 minutes, 40 seconds, we up 11. They go on a 14-0 run, turn the tide on us. And then from that point, it was just kind of, we was in scramble mode, trying to get back in it, and we did. but just too many tough looks. You know, I thought we lost our trust a little bit in the pass, you know, in the fourth quarter. Stopped passing it, you know, started chasing matchups, which was great. We was getting them and then just kind of standing and watching the ISO, which is not how we like to play, you know. But we gave ourselves an opportunity, we gave ourselves a chance, and just couldn't get over the hump.
Chauncey, you said on the road trip in Dallas, you were a little hesitant to throw that double team on Luka late in the fourth quarter. One that's going to catch it out. You threw the hard traffic press up on KD. How did you think that the guys kind of reacted and dealt with KD?
Yeah, I thought we did a good job of it, to be honest with you. There was a couple times that we allowed ourselves to get pinned in on the rotation guy to the corner. And, you know, that buys that guy a second, and they hit a couple big corner three-point shots on that. But I felt like, you know, when you're in those situations, you know, you're wanting to make sure that the best player don't make those shots. So I thought we did a good job with our fires.
Was the final play, was that just a lob to the rim and anyone trying to get to it?
Yeah, .1. I mean, you got no shot.
Actually, I should be .7.
Yeah. I thought, you know, we got a pretty good look on it, but the timing was off, you know, on the play. By the time the pass got there, it wasn't open anymore, you know. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chauncey, what did Ben Simmons do to you guys defensively? It seemed like he was kind of bothering Dame and keeping him in contention spots a little bit.
Yeah, Ben I mean, I've always said this. I think he's one of the best defenders in the game. I really do. Very versatile. He's big and strong, and he can move, you know. So I thought he bothered a lot of our actions. He's really good at shooting the gap, closing the distance, you know. But I thought we was okay there because they switched everything, so we was able to get him switched off at certain times. And we was able to get them switched off at a certain time. We just didn't capitalize when we did that.
You had Josh go hack a man a little bit for a couple of times near the end. Is that ready to kind of make that choice then?
Can't hear the questions.
Well, I felt like we wanted to, one, break their rhythm, and two, you know, Ben is struggling from the free throw line. You know, and if it wasn't him, it was going to be Claxton. So I was upset at halftime because we're going to the game saying they got two guys that are very poor from the free throw line. If they get anywhere around the basket, make them earn it. Well, Claxton was 4 for 5 in the first half, and Ben Simmons was 4 for 4. Neither one of them shoot jumpers. So how does that happen? You know, we got to be locked in. We get a chance to foul it, make them earn it. So we did a better job about it in the second half, but by that time, you know, these guys are in a pretty decent rhythm.
How do you determine how you use Shaedon as far as playing time? Like, when you go back and how long it takes?
It's all feel, man. It's all feel. What's going on with the game? I thought Shaedon was really good for us tonight. He's still kind of learning, you know, our plays, the timing of the plays, everything is just so new. So what happens a lot of times is...
Oh, God, I gotta pause it. Oh, God. Okay. Were we running plays in the fourth quarter or the second half, Eric? Like, what? So that's the first reason he's gonna give for Shaedon not playing the fourth quarter was he's still learning things. It's still new. He's still learning the timing of our plays. Well, you guys weren't running any freaking plays, and where was he?
I mean, maybe it's saying defensive plays, but yeah, I agree.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of this answer, but
stand around and watch Dame and Ant try to make something happen. Actually,
he even admitted it at the start of the press conference. So.
I can't even blame Ant because he sat Ant 6 minutes into the fourth quarter until he came back in. It was cold after he had 15 in the third. So yeah,
Ant only played 29 minutes. I just realized that.
Well, he came out a minute and 24 seconds into the game.
But so, I mean, he got a lot of rest in the first half. He was on fire in the third. Like,
and then he went cold and couldn't.
All right.
You know, I'm on him about, like, you need to learn the plays inside and out, 2 or 3 different positions, because if you don't, I gotta sit you down. You know, I can't have somebody out there that doesn't quite know it all yet, and that's a tough thing, you know, for him to know those things. But that's just something that we got to keep working on. But I thought Shaedon gave us an incredible boost tonight.
So good in the first half, but I mean, second half we didn't really go back to him that much.
Mm-hmm.
Was that just because of the experience factor?
Yeah, in the game, I thought that, they made a couple adjustments on him, and he didn't quite adjust as fast, as he could have to it, which is understandable. But when those things happen, I got to identify that, and I got to make decisions out there.
Can you explain, just in layman's terms, what their adjustments were?
Well,
Good question.
one, he was coming off of a little, I call it wide action, pretty clean, getting looks. They started top locking that. We have different coverages and principles when we do top locks. And when we don't do that, they throw you off a rhythm. A couple times he forgot the top lock coverages. That's a waste of possession. That's a second waste of possession. So I got to get him out, talk to him about it, and then see if he's ready to go back.
All right, so you got any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that's something that I feel like he's been good with. Knowing what to do if they overplay him like that, because he is seemingly a good cutter for his age. I mean, Chauncey obviously knows what he's supposed to do or what he's telling him to do. If he's not doing that, I agree with him. But if they're top loading him, that should open up those backdoor lobs, right, or cuts, right?
Yeah.
That should be automatic, right?
Yeah.
So why can't you just say, hey, that last time they played you over the top, just dive backdoor on that instead of trying to get over the top when they're top loading it, and instead of being like, oh, he didn't do the right thing, I'm gonna take him out like that. How is he gonna learn if you don't tell him to go in there and do that next time? I don't know. I kind of want him to get minutes on the floor learning, not sit down if you don't do it right,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
How tough it is to play the team that came from a loss last night, but play San Antonio. They lost a lot of points for Golden State, and also this got killed by Sacramento last night. How tough it is to play a team now.
I don't even think about those type of things. I just know that team is very, very talented, and they have one of the most unguardable players in the league in Kevin, and then they got a lot of shooters around him. So it doesn't matter if they lost last game. They could have won last game. It's still the same team. I don't even think about those things when I'm game planning. I just think about the threats that they have out there.
Chauncey, back to Shaedon. This has really been trial by fire for him.
Yeah.
And he's obviously had moments like we saw tonight. But in terms of evaluating him as a player at this stage, where have you seen the most growth in this month of game action that he's had?
Man, you know what I love most about him is there's no moment that's too big for him. He's starting to attack a lot more, as opposed to, for instance, we run a play and you're supposed to swing it to the weak side. That's just a part of the play, but I'm saying every part of the play is live. So he's doing a better job now of when he comes off of trying to see if he can get to the basket, and then when they cut him off, then swing it, and not just coming off swing it just because it's the play. He's recognizing those things more. I even think he's doing a better job, defensively, of understanding who he's guarding. He's so green that sometimes he messes up a coverage, but he's so athletic that he gets back into play very quickly. Well, he can do that and do that well, but what happens is when he messes up the coverage, somebody covers for him, and then he runs back, and then we leave that other guy open. So those are the things that he's still trying to understand, which is very understandable.
Good old ad. I think that's is that the end? Yeah, that's the end. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I never have a problem with really many of his answers.
Mm-hmm. He usually says the right thing. So yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. Like the whole thing with Sharp, I don't even have anything to say. I'm just gonna repeat what he said if I talk about it. But I'm used to post game. This is why I don't. This is why I don't really feel like watching Chauncey post game interviews after losses. Is because like I don't really have an issue with what he says, and it all makes sense. It's just like. I mean, he coached a bad game. There was a bunch of things I feel like a bunch of mistakes he made during this game that he didn't get asked about.
Yeah.
Like Hart on KD, and we've talked about a lot of these mistakes.
Not putting a defensive line out with 6 seconds left.
Yep, and then the rebound, didn't even get asked about that last possession. Didn't have Sharpe in on the .7 lob. Maybe he would have been a better option, but also it's like it's really hard to time a lob there. Like you should have had an option for a catch and shoot. Dame can get a shot off in that amount of time. Like, yeah, I don't know.
We basically ran the same play or a similar play to the end of the Phoenix game where we won. So like Brooklyn was probably kind of expecting that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have anything to say. Well, I am, I know, but. There, you guys. There's your interview. Let's look at the final scores from tonight. Kings blow out the Spurs. The Kings are playing really good basketball right now. Spurs, after giving us a battle, get blown out by the Kings. The Kings blew out the Nets as well, and then we lost to the Nets. So the Kings are playing better than us right now. And then the Clippers beat the Pistons 96-91. Did Kawhi and PG end up playing that game?
Yep, both played.
And they barely won.
Yep.
And the Pistons didn't have Cade either, so Bogdanovich went off. Team effort behind that. I mean, they barely won that game, and that's not a good Pistons team, 3-13 without Cade. So I don't know, man. The West is a mess. There's no teams playing great right now. That's the only solace after a loss like this is no team is playing great. We're not playing great. Even when we were winning games, I felt like we weren't playing great. Like we were playing okay. We were playing, there's some games where I thought we played good. Maybe a game here or there where I thought we played really good, but still a lot of room for improvement even in the wins. And now it's like these past couple of games have been a letdown compared to that 6-game road trip. It's just weird coming home for 2 bad games after a very successful 6-game road trip, missing guys against good teams. I don't understand, man. It's kind of the opposite of last year.
Mm-hmm. GTD means game time decision. No, Keldon and Dougie McBuckets both sat this game too.
So the next game is Saturday against the Jazz, who have lost 3 in a row. The Jazz play... I think they play tomorrow. Yeah, the Jazz play tomorrow against the Suns, so they'll be on a second night of a back-to-back. Good chance they've lost 4 in a row going into that. They've lost against the Knicks, on the road to the Sixers, on the road to the Wizards. So Utah played well, but I don't think they are as good as their record suggests. We saw them in preseason.
But if you're playing sloppy, they can still run you out of the gym, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, the Blazers didn't play sloppy tonight. They actually took care of the ball, but it's easy to take care of the ball when you just dribble, shot, right?
I'm more mentally focused on defense and stuff.
I mean, yeah, they got D up better, got to make shots. I mean, the Blazers did not make shots today, but they didn't get good shots. That's the key. If the Blazers got good shots today, they win. Comfortably, probably. But also the defense wasn't good. You gave up 50% shooting and 38% from 3.
Mm-hmm.
So... defense wasn't good.
Too.
Offense was bad. Still almost won this game. I don't know, dude. I'm mentally spent from this stream, so... Anything else for this one?
No, I appreciate everyone for watching. Hope we have a good couple days, and hopefully Saturday night we'll see you all there, and we'll be talking about the Blazers beating the Jazz. Oh, you're planning on doing a watch party, right, on Discord? If you're not a part of our Discord, join that for more details.
Yep. join our Discord, link in the description box below, and you'll have some information on the watch party we'll have on the main channel, and then there's a voice chat in there that you can call in during timeout or during halftime that we're gonna try and utilize and get a feel for. So definitely check that out. Definitely join the Discord. And yeah, dropped a mailbag earlier today. Definitely go check that out if you want to. Talked about Jeremy Grant playing like an all-star until tonight's, obviously. He was rough tonight. He 2 for 13. He and Dame combined 10 for 37. Need to have better performances from those guys. I mean, both those guys forced some really, really bad shots in this game. I thought the shot selection was the worst in this game than it's been in any other game all season. Lots of things went wrong in this game for the Blazers, but they took care of the ball, which allowed them to almost win the game despite pretty much everything else going wrong. And then obviously Shaedon Sharpe going off for 20 was cool to see in 21 minutes. We heard from Chauncey as to why he didn't play more. 7 for 9 from the field, 4 for 5 from him. But yeah, Ant as well, 8 for 20, 4 for 9 from 3. He didn't have the most efficient night, and he was a minus 19. So got to get better performances from the starting lineup.
And last minute donation from M Alum, $2. We need these losses early so we are better later. I think we could still take something if we win this game.
Yeah, I mean, you could have taken a lot from the Spurs. Like, that's the thing is our improvement in our effort and the way we play can't be dependent upon how many games we've won or lost. It just needs to be what it needs to be. That's the key. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, you learn from this. Maybe a little bit of a wake-up call. Maybe they come out playing better against the Jazz because of this. But I hope that this team isn't that dependent on needing a loss in order to play better. Mm-hmm. They just need to play better. Like, if they win this game, what? Do they play bad next game? Like, you can't be dependent on that. So, just need to play better than they've played during this homestand. 1-1. Mm-hmm. Power Dog says Tori is a poet and didn't know it. Apparently I am. But anything else for this stream?
No, have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, we'll catch you later. Thank you to everyone who donated. Most donations we've had in a loss. Maybe it's because we were so mad. I don't know. But yeah, we'll catch you again on Saturday. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night and a good Friday. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.